Hello, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and as you may remember, back in January we attended the 5-Star Wrestling promotional show. We interviewed a bunch of wrestlers. We interviewed Justin Gabriel, John Morrison, and of course AJ Styles. We actually interviewed about double that amount of wrestlers, including Colt Cabana, Kid Fight, Carlito, and of course Jay Lethal. But unfortunately, we sort of lost the card that those interviews were on. Shame, shame, shame. But the good news is, we found it, hooray! So a couple of months late, apologies to all the wrestlers involved. Here are the interviews from 5-Star Wrestling. Take it away.
Hi everyone, welcome to WhatCulture.com. I'm Kenny McIntosh and I'm joined by the man who usually spits in the face of people who aren't cool, but luckily I've taken his apples away. It is Carlito. How are you, sir?
You never know though, I can find an apple real quick, so let's not get too cocky at this point.
Let's finish this up. I don't want to be spat on. So you're here in the UK for 5-Star Wrestling. You've done a lot of shows over here in the UK. I know you've been asked it before, but how do the crowds in the UK compare to you for crowds in the US?
Man, they're pretty live over here. You know what I mean? They kind of remind me of Puerto Rican fans. That they get into the matches. They really cheer for the people they like and really let the people they don't like know. So it's very entertaining to come here.
And people obviously who are watching this know you a lot from the WWE stuff. And one of the first things you did there was you had a program with John Cena. What was it like to have that program with him? And do you have fond memories of it?
You know, I get asked all the time. It was a long time ago. You know, Carlito's been in the business a long time. I'm slowly going to that veteran stage, which I'm not getting used to. But yeah, from what I remember, it was a great experience. He's one of the greatest talents of our time. You know what I mean? He's our generation's Hulk Hogan, and it was great getting to work with him in the early stages and see how he's evolved and gotten better over the years.
Absolutely. And one of the things I was watching recently before I knew we were going to talk was WrestleMania 21 in LA when they did the thing with Piper and Austin, and you came out and got involved in that. I don't know if you remember it. And I just kind of wondered, sometimes you see nowadays with younger guys coming in and they do a spot with a legend or whatever. When you look at that kind of thing, are you happy that you're involved in a spot with a legend, or are you kind of like, I'd rather be doing something else, I'm not like the foil to that kind of thing?
No, man. That's where you want to be. You know what I mean? If they're with the legends, it means, you're making some noise. So for me, it was always a pleasure. And, work with the guys like Stone Cold and, Roddy Piper. It was a great experience. I knew Piper from back in the day, of course, growing up in the business. So it was good there not also to be with a legend, but also be in there with a friend.
Absolutely. And in terms of having been in Puerto Rico and being in WWE, when you got to WWE, was there a lot of adjustments to make to the kind of style there and the way they did things?
I guess I don't know. I just adjust to whatever situation I'm in. I learned pretty quickly, and it's different styles, different things you gotta get, but nothing overwhelming. I was able to adjust quickly.
And what are the sort of, now that you're not with WWE and you're kind of wrestling around the world, different shows, kind of calling your own spots and schedules and stuff, what are the kind of pros and the cons to maybe not being a part of like a company where you're on a schedule like you are with them?
I guess the cons is not being on TV. I haven't been on TV in, I guess, going on 6 years now, and I'm blessed and lucky that I still get to do all these shows like 5-Star and work all over the world still. So that's a lot of guys can't say that, so I'm happy for that. And there's a lot of positives, like you said. I keep my own schedule. I get to work wherever I want, have the matches that I want to have, and nobody telling me what I can and can't do. So I'm able to like if I have a bad match, then I can blame myself completely. If I have a good match, then I can pat myself on the shoulder. Luckily, Khalid doesn't have a lot of bad matches. You know what I mean? I can't even remember the last time I had a bad match.
I don't think you've ever had a bad match.
Well, let's not get too crazy. I've seen some footage of a couple of things I've done before, so they're not all great. They're not all winners, but some are pretty good.
And I was actually at the Hall of Fame when your dad got inducted at WWE, and you had quite an entertaining speech to put him in. What are your memories of coming out there and inducting your dad into the Hall of Fame?
For Carlito, every time I walk out and I see 18,000 people, 20, whatever it is, I always want to, make them laugh, do a little stand-up routine for them. So I cut it short because I didn't want to, it was all about my dad. I was just there to show some love for my dad, and, he deserved to be there, and that was his night. So, it's just me trying to be a smart aleck like I always do. But, my main thing was just to be there for my father.
And I feel like I need to ask you this because people might be thinking it. The hair is quite glorious. Have you ever thought about like shaving it? Is that something you would ever do, or is the hair here to stay for good?
Yeah, as soon as it goes gray, it's gone. But luckily, I haven't had too much stress in my life, so hopefully it'll give me a couple of more years of just glorious luxuriousness. You know what I mean?
The hair is here to stay. And the last question I've got for you is, you know, with you kind of being around the world wrestling different shows, is there like an opponent for you that you've not managed to face yet, a guy you'd really like to work with that you're hoping to work with one day?
That's a good question. Probably. I can't think of people, but I'm sure, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, guys up and coming and a lot of still legends. You know, luckily I've been able to wrestle most of the, you know, bigger names and stars out there. But, yeah, like I said, I'm sure there's somebody out there. And, you know, when I see him and I get to work with him, it'll be a pleasure as always.
And everyone wants me to ask you, you know, there was rumblings not too long ago that you might go back to WWE, we might see you there again. Can you tell us anything about, will we see you back there? Is it something that you're looking for or open to?
Yeah, you know, I'm open to it, and you know, we'll see. I can't say yes, I can't say no. Well, you know, who knows what the future holds.
That's what I'm going to get. Well, thank you very much for coming on with us today. And there's no apple, so I think I've survived. This has been Carlito. I've been Kenny. We'll see you soon.